Today's Friday, January 30th. Deaths in Minnesota are tearing the country apart. Everybody's telling you something different, watching the same video, coming up with different answers. Grab your coffee. Let's wake up, dude. The death of Alex Pretti boils down to one thing: qualified immunity. Was the officer justified in killing him the way he did, the way it went down? It's a complicated question. I get it. There's a lot of ins and outs. There's a lot of things that people don't fully understand about how things work. To me, the best place to go is to figure out the source, figure out from the very beginning, what are they taught? What are they trained? How are they supposed to act? To me, the best place to do that is the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center's website, fletc.gov. Today, we're going to lean heavily on that website to determine whether or not the agents who killed Alex Pretti were justified in that murder. First, we're going to go to their official training on use of force, Section 3, use of deadly force, where it lies out qualified immunity and when it does and does not apply. We'll put up the official wording on the screen, but what it boils down to is there are two sections, two circumstances where qualified immunity applies. It needs to be a reasonable situation that everybody in law enforcement or any reasonable person in law enforcement would agree that that use of deadly force was necessary. In 2015, San Francisco v. Sheehan, the Supreme Court added a secondary requirement that says that a person's constitutional rights have to have been violated in order for qualified immunity to be stripped from an officer. So we're going to take these one at a time. First, was it reasonable for them to use deadly force in the situation of Alex Pretti? Second, were Alex Pretti's constitutional rights being violated by his death? Let's get into it. As we walk through the videos of the death of Alex Pretti, from the different angles and the different people who recorded it, we can see quite a few things. First, we see that he starts on the opposite side of the street, recording from a distance, phone in hand, with two other citizens. Person in a green jacket, person in a gray jacket with an orange backpack. An agent approaches him. He tries to move away. The agent shoves him in the back into the other citizen with the green backpack. As he removes himself from that person, they push the other citizen in the orange backpack to the ground. As the person in the green jacket goes to help that person, Alex needs to raise his hand to block the irritant that is being sprayed by the ICE agents. He then turns his back entirely to the ICE agents to help up the woman in the orange backpack. They grab him from his back, move him with so much force that it moves both him and the woman with the orange backpack back to the ground. They lift him up, put him on the hood of the car, then remove him to the ground. At this point, more agents appear to approach. It seems very clear in multiple angles that at least one of those agents are striking him repeatedly on the ground. An agent in a gray jacket approaches with empty hands. While he is there, the shouts of gun can be heard by the agents. He removes himself from the scrum with gun in hand as the shots are being fired. At no point, at any point in this altercation, does Alex Pretti act in any way whatsoever with hostility, aggression, or force. The only point where his gun leaves its holster is when the agents take it from him before they shoot him. There is no reasonable explanation, as laid out by the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center's website, that qualified immunity should be applied, because there's no reasonable explanation for them to need to use deadly force in this situation, where in every circumstance, every situation where he had the ability, Alex Pretti tried to remove himself from the line of harm. At every point where he was given the opportunity, Alex Pretti tried to remove himself from harm. Every chance where he could have acted with aggression, when he was pushed the first time, when he was maced, when he was thrown against the hood, he submitted and he allowed them to do what they were doing to him. There was absolutely no point at any time in any angle of that video where he even appears to act with harm or malice. Today, as I've been preparing for this, a new video has come out in the media. It's become quite prevalent of him acting with aggression over a week before. I want to be clear that if anything, this video just further implicates the ICE agents as having acted out of line. It does not clear them. If what we are saying is that he has a history of being aggressive and they took that history into this situation, then they were the ones acting with malice because of his past interactions with them. They were acting because they had a grudge, not because he was acting in any way whatsoever aggressively. This is not clearing the air and making it look like the ICE agents were right. This is saying these people acted with malice because they did not like him exercising his rights. A good word for that is premeditation. They had the ability to look at him, say, this guy has acted aggressively towards us in the past, so we have the right to murder him. That is not freedom. That is not the United States that I grew up in or that I want to live in. And while we're talking about freedom, let's get to the second question. Were his constitutional rights violated? We'll go in order. First Amendment. He was there in his community, standing on the street with other members of his community. That's the right of assembly. He was yelling mean things at the officers. That's true. Sorry, agents. They are not officers. He was yelling mean things at the ICE agents. And that's true, he was. But that's freedom of speech. Still the First Amendment. He was carrying a gun. I grew up in an America where I was told that it was necessary that students died in schools because the freedom that we have to own guns is so important. To quote Charlie Kirk, the sacrifice was necessary. I may be somebody who's pretty well known to be on the left. I actually consider myself to be pretty moderate. But I know a lot of people. I have a lot of friends and family who are on the right, who are avid gun owners, carry and everything. And they're furious at the idea that their Second Amendment ends when law enforcement doesn't agree with their politics. That is the true conservative stance in this situation, because everybody has the same rights. We all have the same freedoms. That's what the United States of America is, and that's what it means to be a patriot. Whether or not we agree with you, you're still allowed to have your opinion. That's why when certain billionaires went out and started zig-hailing on national TV, they got to stay CEOs of their companies and they got to stay billionaires. Because even though many people do not agree with that kind of behavior, we live in a free country where you get to have beliefs other people don't like. And your rights, first, second, fourth, or any other, don't end just because the government in power doesn't agree with you in that moment. Fourth Amendment, the right to due process, the right to not be killed in a situation where all you did was videotape officers or agents doing their jobs. Didn't impede traffic, didn't stop them, didn't assault them. We have rights. All of his were violated when they shot him. They were excessive in the way they shot him, the amount of times they shot him. Under no circumstance is it justifiable that Alex Pretti was murdered. Now, while we have a little time and we're already here, let's talk about Renee Good, because I actually have a little firsthand information about these kinds of situations. And as a little first episode treat, we're going to share it with you. I've been in a situation where a car drove directly at me from a dead stop on a wet road. I was leaving a Smart & Final. Somebody was trying to get away after having robbed it. They bumped me. I refused to get out of the way. They gunned it at me. I did not murder them. I did not hurt them. I jumped on the hood of their car. I grabbed onto their windshield wipers and I rode it for 5 to 10 minutes until the police showed up. Eventually, he threw a can at my head, a big metal bottle, and made me lose focus. I fell off. He ran over my right leg. I got up and I walked away because I'm not a fucking pussy. Sorry, that's not right. Pussies are strong, amazing, and wonderful. I'm not a weak little pair of shriveled testicles like these ICE agents who think that anytime somebody says something mean to them, it's justification for fucking murder. If you're one of these young guys out there and you're following these Rogans, you're following these other dudes who are trying to teach you that it's everybody's fault but your own, that things aren't working out right in life, I'm here now because those men are ruining your lives. They are turning you into weak, shriveled little boys instead of the strong men America needs. It's time to wake up, dude.